All right, we are almost there. Okay. Uh, don't think I mentioned it last night. I did see it pop up, but I'm never thinking of it on Fridays. I forget that it's there because it's inside my OBS. But anyway, thanks for the follow on Twitch, Tyeth Twitch. Followed last night, I think, during the deep dive. I saw that, but it did not register my brain what was happening. We are now at here and here. Nice. Is that updating in the, yeah, there it is. Yeah, the like getting ready to make my coffee, and this kitty, one of our cats, is very much wants to drink water out of a cup from a person. Like, we have fountains that get changed out regularly, we have bowls that get changed out regularly, but she's very much interested in a person like getting water from the sink and giving it to her. So that's how she gets most of her water. And then I had to, of course, finish up and make my coffee as well. How's it going, C. Grover? And DJ Devin as well. Let's get one of these. Whoa, that's thing. Okay. All right. I am jumping right back into it. I guess let's do a quick intro for anybody that might be new. You have not seen this before, or if you're watching this in the future and you don't know anything about what I am working on or who I am, we are working on CircuitPython stuff. CircuitPython is a version of Python that runs on tiny computers called microcontrollers. These tiny computers typically will plug into your computer through a USB cable, and then they'll show up like a thumb drive. You can edit some Python code on that thumb drive, and it will actually execute on the chip that is inside of these devices, the main chip there, or you know, each one of these has their own main chip. So we're running Python code inside of there. Specifically, we are working with this one called the Feather DVI, Feather RP2040 with DVI output port, apparently. A little bit more wordy of a name, but this one has a DVI output port, but it is shaped like an HDMI cable, so you can plug it in with an HDMI cable to a TV, or in my case, to a USB capture card, and then we can pull it into OBS here to show it on the screen. So I'm outputting via the DVI port that happens to be shaped like an HDMI cable, and I am inputting into a cheap USB HDMI capture adapter that I bought off of the internet, I think. I did, for anybody that watched last night on the deep dive, I was working on this, so if you're interested in the first half of this expedition, you could watch. Last night we did a bunch of these, and so I'll be kind of picking up where I left off there, doing a few more, and then working on something that is going to be kind of related, but kind of different. Anyway, though, one of the things we did notice last night is the color in my HDMI capture card is a little bit off. Like, for instance, over here, this is supposed to be plain white, but it has a bit of a yellowish tint to it. All of the colors have that yellowish tint. In this case, it comes through pretty well for the most part. You can tell that it's like that on the white, and I would say the brown is maybe another giveaway in this one. The brown looks tinted a bit as well. The rest of the colors in this one actually don't turn out too bad, but I'm sure if we could remove that tint, we would probably be able to see the difference pretty well. So this answers one of my questions, which was I did tweak a few things to try to get it to not do that force close thing. So I seem to have failed on that. Let me try something else real fast here. It is going to switch the scene, but I'm going to make sure to switch it back afterwards. We want to go here and then maybe frame rate, and let's just choose a really small frame rate instead of leave unchanged and see if that makes it any better for us. Yeah, thank you for the link there in the chat. Is yesterday's YouTube VOD when we started on this. Okay, hopefully, I'm hoping that we could not have this thing force closing every few seconds as well, so we'll see if we do that. The other thing I do have today is I have a PyPortal pulled up, so we can switch over to that if we want. It does have the same size screen effectively as what we end up with here, so we should be able to adapt any of those scripts we made last night to run on the PyPortal, and it should not really require too much changing. But yeah, I don't think I can get rid of the yellow tint. I tried all the different settings I could find inside OBS last night after the stream, later on in the evening, and it always had some level of yellow tint. There were various different shades of yellow tint that I could achieve by choosing a few different settings, but at the end of the day, it was always there on some level. I also tried some color correction stuff, but I was getting further away from accurate than closer to, right? Like, it was not working, basically. So this is what we've got for now. Maybe I'll eventually try to pick up a different HDMI input adapter. I did verify by skipping the adapter and going directly to my TV that the colors on the TV seem fine. To my eye. So I think this is a deal with just the cheap HDMI little adapter piece that I've gotten that it's plugged into. But it works pretty well, gets the job done, and it's fun to play with nonetheless. So I'm going to do a few more pride flags. Last night, that's what we started on, was working on some DisplayIO examples of these pride flags. They make a good thing to do examples on, I think, because they are relatively simple in terms of design, most of them, and there are lots of different ways that we can achieve these designs. And I thought it would make for a good kind of like, many ways example, like show many different ways of achieving kind of similar things. That way somebody could kind of pick from amongst those ways or adapt it to different situations where the pluses and minuses might come into play a bit more. In our case here, we could totally just choose any one of these ways and we could make the flags with just that one. But partially what my intentions are to create this sample code showing all these different ways. So we're branching out, we're doing different stuff, even though we could kind of just copy and paste to an extent. The first one I'm going to start with today is one we did not use yesterday, which is called DisplayIO Shape. In fact, I forgot about this one until after yesterday's stream. This is I would say, lesser known or somewhat unknown / unused down in the nooks and crannies, so to speak, of DisplayIO. There's not a lot of example code with this out there, and so there's not a lot of usage of it in projects and things like that. But it's an interesting object. DisplayIO Shape, it represents a rectangle, and you can make the rectangle whatever height and width that you want, and then optionally you can do what I like to think of as unfold the rectangle. So if you imagine like a square sheet of paper or a regular sheet of paper, a rectangular sheet, and you fold it in half one way and then you turn it and you fold it in half the other way. So now you've got like a quarter-sized sheet of paper that's all folded up, and if you unfold it, then you'd have like a cross in the middle of it, and you'd have 4 different quadrants. This object can kind of behave like that unfolding of the paper. You can make your rectangle, you can flip certain bits to be the opposite color. You get a foreground color and a background color. You can flip certain bits to be the opposite color, and then you can apply these like unfoldings of what you've done. Yeah, so it's kind of an interesting thing. It will work pretty well for flags because what we can do is we can make a shape that's half the size of the flag, and then we'll be able to unfold it horizontally to get the other half. We could even potentially use the foreground and background colors as 2 different colors. within our flag, but I think I will probably more so lean towards using one shape for every stripe. That way, each one will only essentially be using either the foreground or the background, and it won't matter which. Really, let me catch up on the chat here as well. Color issue OBS. I think it's the adapter. I can't rule it out. Like, it could be OBS. Yeah, I don't have a way to really to like definitely distinctify between hardware, software. I guess I could try. I could try booting over into Windows, and then I could run OBS inside of Windows. That would be, I guess, another data point. But I think it's the adapter. Well, that wasn't on my mind doing the overlay. Just make half the flag vertical. Yep, exactly right. Yep, we'll make half of it, and then we'll unfold it. We'll flip it over to the other half. So we will need to pick one that is symmetrical. This would not be a good choice for any of the ones that have non-symmetrical things like the lipsticks or the triangles on the left or the heart. The pie would probably not be so easy because the pie icon itself is not mirrored, but you could paste it on top, I guess, would be pretty easy. The axe is technically the same as like a mirror image, but I don't know. Since it needs 3 colors, the axe would be tough to pull off. You could certainly make. The triangle actually makes it hard, I think. I don't know if there's a transparent inside shapes. I know there's a foreground and a background, but I don't know about transparent. If there is a transparent, then you could maybe make this black triangle as well as the white axe inside of it. Okay, let's do one of the lesbian ones for now. We did gay men yesterday, amongst a handful of others. So let's get a lesbian flag. It looks like there are 3 different ones. I do not actually know differences or origin, but it looks like there's 2 that are new-ish. And then one that I'm thinking is probably older based on this, or this links back to a guide retrieved. Let's do the 7 stripes, I think this is, because that one is very similar in nature to this one. Interestingly, it has a border line, I think, on a couple of these. A closer look at some of these. Almost, they're like flipped, and they're a different sort of like hue, I guess. Those 2. I'm scrolled very far. Colors. Oh, okay, and then this is the lipstick one without. I see. And then there's a 5-stripe variation. That's a 5-stripe variation of this one. Same ones all listed down here. I mean, ultimately, we could do both. We can start with, I think, let's actually start with the 5-stripe because it has more defined colors. With the 7-stripe ones, I don't know how well we're going to be able to see the contrast between like these 2 colors here in particular. Maybe the oranges as well, but those ones might be easier. So let's do the 5-color. 5-stripe first, rather. Copy that. I'll take it into GIMP first. How does that set boundary command off of shape play out? It mentions setting rows. Does that mean you could visually do a non-square effectively using foregrounds and backgrounds colors? Yes, kind of. Yeah, you could achieve like The thing that in my mind it is like best at achieving is rounded corners for a rectangle. So if you want a rounded rect, shape is really good at making that using the set boundary. We can play with set boundary a little bit as well. I'll try to show you how it works a little bit. There is the other place I can point to that has decent examples, I think. I want to say there's a couple shape examples in the module. Yeah. This one, I think, does rounded corners, in fact. And it essentially uses set boundary to mark where the foreground and the background are going to be. And then you do it on a per row basis if memory serves, although I don't use it very often and it has been a while. So I could also be misremembering the API, like the specifics of it. We'll have to see when we get into it. But you effectively, the boundary is where you change from background to foreground, and then you choose that point for each row. And you get to choose, I think, a left side and a right side if memory serves as well. And then like anything inside ends up being, let's say, foreground, anything outside ends up being background. And then when you do the unfolding, if you choose to do the unfolding, then you can kind of duplicate what you've done or mirror what you've done. Go into mode indexed first, then shrink it. Did I move that? Maybe I moved that. Undo? Yeah, I did. I totally did. Wow. Okay. Okay, so we will try, if I recall correct, I could also be misremembering how this works as well, but I think what we want is to try to make half of this and then use like transpose or something. Am I thinking of tile grid? We'll see how it goes. I might be misremembering the unfold. Okay, so in order to do this, we're gonna need what? So each one of these shapes, it needs a tile grid still, I think, right? Yeah. So for us, get our first color in. We're gonna say that that one is red-orange, and then we'll do orange next. And we're only gonna need 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's get rid of the rest of these for now. Did I save this one out? I think I would have. Well, right, yeah, this is the progress. Line boundary fill, yep. Let's go ahead and fill in the rest of the colors real fast. Or as fast as I can, which is slower than I want, but I'm almost tempted to try to make, I mean, I surely would spend more time making a script than just brute forcing this, but I'm tempted to try to make a script that uses PIL to give me the list of colors. So for these, I guess we'll just go, maybe we should have gone dark orange, light orange. That way we can go dark pink, light pink. I think I'm gonna do that. or just dark orange and orange is fine as well. And then we'll have pink and dark pink. What use case would DisplayIO shape be better than round rect? I would suspect that DisplayIO shape will take less memory than round rect, if you mean the one that's in display shapes library. That being said, I have not tested it, so I could also just totally be wrong. But yeah, if your case, if your case is specifically around rect, there is the one in shapes, which is probably easier to use, which is also probably part of why you don't really see shape used. I will say, like, round rect is the thing that comes to mind for me as what it excels at, but the way the boundaries work, it can do different kinds of things as well. If you're not looking for a round rect, but you're looking for some kind of, like, scissor back and forth or something on the left and right, then this can achieve that as well, where round rect cannot. It's like a totally different thing. Maybe another thing you could use this for, which you certainly could not use round rect or any of the other shapes very easily, could be like a what do they call the bar for like sound, like the microphone bar that's always bouncing or whatever? Some of those are like, sometimes they have a dual one where it bounces on both sides. You could do something like that with this object. It's kind of a out of left field a bit, but only use it with solid color. DU meter, there you go, like the little bouncy thing. I've only used round rect with solid color. Maybe it's better using shapes with round rect. Yeah, the truth is I don't know off the top of my head, basically. Like, I rarely use shape. I am aware of its existence and I've played with it a few times, but I definitely do not use it that much, so I don't have any ready to go, like, this is the perfect use case. Round rect is the one that comes to mind, but it is kind of matching from display shapes as far as, like, functionality there. I don't know if it does provide much above and beyond that in terms of the round rect specifically, but it can do some other stuff as well. So let's go with a stripe. Do we want to just do top? Yeah, let's go top stripe shape. And we want to mirror only X, but in fact, let's start with both of these as false for now, and then we'll turn one to true so we can see what happens. So that is wanting a height and a width. Let's say, I really should start doing these by screen size, huh? Display width over 2, I think, and then height is going to be display height over 5. We will not have the bitmap. We will have a top stripe tile grid, which will have top stripe shape as its bitmap. How do we do pixel shader? We need to make our own. Okay, so we'll make a palette. We need one for each. For each? Can you tell it what color? Look like it. That might be kind of cool if you could tell it the colors. Instead, I think it just uses the first 2 colors in the palette. And we're actually only going to need one of those. So we don't really need this one necessarily. And we'll say top stripe palette 0 equals dark orange. Shape, mirrors are false. Tile grid shape pixel, this will be the top stripe. Get rid of these. Did not add it to the group. Whoops. I think we need the second color, but maybe. Interesting. Okay, so 0 is the background color and 1 is the foreground color. So in our case, we actually want dark orange as 1, and then technically it won't really matter. Let's put orange in here for now so that we can play with the boundary a little bit. Okay, so now we have half orange, and so let's do something now like for I in range top stripe shape dot height, which we cannot actually access for some reason. So we'll do that instead. So for I in range, we're going to loop over the heights, and we're going to say, nope, shape dot set boundary, and then we get what? Y, and then start X and index. So let's say Y is going to always be I, so maybe we should call it Y. Seems good. And then X, let's say start X, index. So let's just call it, let's say we start on Y also, and then we end on max width, so whatever this is. So this should make like a diagonal line of some sort. I would be lying if I said I could be 100% confident about exactly what it's going to look like, but I think it should be a diagonal line one way or the other. Has no attributes set. I wonder why this didn't wrap. Oh, didn't wrap because there's nothing more. Fair enough. Please use height over flag colors. Interesting. It did make a diagonal line, but it also did, there's more orange, or there's less dark orange than I thought there would be. Please use height divided by flag colors. We actually have flag colors right now. We had this palette, which we could maybe get the length of. I don't know if you're allowed to get the length of palettes. Surprised this did not do something different, actually. I don't know. Maybe the, okay, I think maybe the end one, I think maybe the end X maybe only matters if you have mirror. Yes, okay, end X only matters if you have mirror. So if this was all the way, then we would have only the left. Or not. Honestly, I'm not sure why it's not filled in. Combination of shape and vector IO. There you go. That's a much more practical use case, yeah. Nice. Folding and mirroring, two different things, yeah. I could have been wrong. Like, the other thing is I don't use it very much. I could also just misremember how it works, so maybe I was wrong when I was describing it before. Which it seems like, because I was expecting it to unfold the rest, but it seems like that does not happen. Instead, it mirrors on the halfway point here. But I also don't get, like, I'm not understanding. I thought this was going to fill in the middle. It's not doing at all, actually. I don't know. Loads pre-packed data. Yeah, that's the thing, too. This is definitely not a good... not a great way to describe what it's going to do. So here we had a range of corner size. We did it I, and then we did always minus shape width. Interesting, maybe to run this one. What was this called? Shape corners? This one is maybe not rounded, but angled. Also, it looks broken to me. I don't think that's what it's supposed to look like. Corner size is 1/4 of the display. So we're saying corner size minus, so that would be, we have, in our case, it's 320 over 4, which is 80, minus 1, 79, minus I, which is just counting up to 80. So this is going to start at 80 and count down. But we're actually counting up here, it looks like, right? It's weird. Okay, we're going to take a little bit quick step back and look on a different device, add a few different versions of CircuitPython, and see if potentially this got broken at some point in the core. So this is definitely a bit of a detour. It'll take us a second before we get back to flags again, but I want to... I mean, I'm a sucker for a good DisplayIO potential bug, basically. I can't just not try to look into it a bit further, fortunately. Sometimes unfortunately. Fortunately or un. What colors is me? Yeah. Yeah, no, I was with you. I just didn't have... I was looking back if I had a thing like it. Palette's probably the closest thing Tree could eventually do, maybe. And height was dynamic, yeah. Give up triangles and axes. Okay, let's just grab this and run it on here, and we are at what on this? 803, which is not super new, really. Touch points. Pretty sure that's a simple test. Let's look the same here. And we said this was 803, which is our released version or no? That. Also go here. Can you please do? F2. Put that. All right, same there. .803 was what we had. I mean, I'm kind of thinking all 8.0s pretty likely to be all the same, I would guess. Let's try 733. Because, yeah, I mean, from the code, I'm totally expecting, like basically a rectangle with its corners chopped off. And then what would I think? So out of bounds blue and then inbounds teal. So I would expect the corners, the four corners, to be blue triangles, effectively, like have angles drawn like this, and then the four corners would be blue, and then the inside would be teal. But instead we get the teal lines kind of by themselves, which strike me as odd because it's not filled. Like, this line exists and neither side of the line is filled with the other color, which runs counter to how I thought shape worked. I thought shape, it would be like either side of the line would always be filled with one color or the other, but it shouldn't, to the best of my knowledge, it shouldn't ever be either side filled with the same color. Based on how I thought I understood how it worked. That would be a weird thing to have gotten broken too, though, because, like, seems unlikely the shape code would have been touched, so somehow something outside of it affected it? That is what I'm expecting. Okay, so this also is a good example of a thing that you could make with shape that you could not necessarily make very easy with rounded rect. Because this rect is not rounded, it's like you know, lazy person's rounded as just angle lopped off instead, but you could also get a hexagon out of this or something, or maybe could you make an octagon with this? That I'm not sure. Maybe if you do the angles right. So when did this break? We had 803 and it was broken there. Let's try 800. Maybe because you're mirroring. But I mean, this is the exact same code. Like, this code is the exact same code we just ran on the other version and got different results. So one way or another, like one of them is not working correctly. To the best of my knowledge, this is the one that is how it's supposed to work. And then with regards to the mirroring, so like here now we could actually get a much easier look at what this does. So turning off mirror X will make it so that we won't get the right side boundaries over here. I think it's probably... Let's auto reload off, maybe? No? Oh. Okay, plot thickens. Maybe the mirror is broken also. I don't know. Is this... Why is it not running? Do we have bootpy or... Something else funky is going on here too, because my... Like, it says auto reload here, but I totally just saved this. Oh, yes. This is on the wrong device. Well, it's not the wrong device, but it's on the HDMI device. Not actually HDMI, but has a cable that looks like it. Okay. Okay. Ooh. Interesting. Okay, so you could make arrows also, although... Can't say as though I expected that to be what came out of this. Huh. This is just... Oh. Interesting. Okay, so here's the unfolding effect. This is how the unfolding works in my head, at least. This is with all the mirrors off. Mirror X false, mirror Y false. This is with both false. And so when we have mirror, I don't know which one, but one of them, it's going to basically flip this thing over to here. It's going to mirror image it all the way across over to here. And then the other one is across the other axis. So it's going to mirror image this top quadrant down to the bottom quadrant. Mirror X does what? Is this... Okay, so mirror X means across the y-axis. Mirror across the y-axis. Unfold... you know, horizontally, unfold in the X orientation, but it's across the Y-axis. Whereas mirror Y is the same concept, but unfold vertically across the X-axis. It does... Okay, it does... I was definitely misremembering, like, specifically how it unfolds, though, because the width and height have to be the full size. So you have to declare your full unfolded sheet of paper first, and then... if you have both of these false, you're effectively only working in the top left quadrant. And when you turn these to true, you're giving yourself one other quadrant either to the right of or below the top left one. And if you have them both true, then you'll also gain the fourth quadrant in the bottom right. But the full thing is actually the original unfolded size. So for our flag, if we do get back to the flag with this, we will actually need our shape to be the full size, and we won't really need to use the boundary. We could, I guess, make a boundary that's just black or something if we wanted, but technically we won't really have a need for the boundary at all. But as I am like a squirrel is to a nut with a potential DisplayIO bug, I am gonna dig a little bit farther in this direction before we get back around to it. So 0800, let's try. Set mirror Y false again. I will try that in a minute. I'll switch back if this one's broken. Let's set Y to false and X to true. Did it not chop the top right corner, or am I tired? I will just try it. I don't know for certain what it did. Okay, copy this one. Here. Pretty much. I don't know what it is really about DisplayIO that draws me in so well, I guess. But yeah, it's like generally I enjoy problem solving, but for whatever reason, problem solving around DisplayIO particularly rewarding for my brain. So it is 800. I mean, we'll try all the way back to here, I guess. It's probably gonna be like the set root group thing. I probably broke this with one of my other changes, maybe. I can't imagine anything like inside of shape actually changing. That's the weird part. We could go look at some commit history dates, maybe. But I would be surprised if the code inside shape actually got touched recently. Nope, it's still broken there. So all the way back to 800, 801. But 733 does work, and I think we might have waited too long because we no longer have daily commits that far back. It looks like they got cleaned out starting in May. Does Pirate get treated any differently than any other languages? No, he got pretty much the same thing. So that's actually tricky. It's actually tricky. Since those are gone now, we will need to come up with a different way to get the commits between these two. Yeah. Well, I don't know. In this case, unacceptable. Like, it's been apparently like this for months, at least since October. No one has noticed it just because shape is such an underutilized thing, I think, but I don't know. It's the nature of the problems for some reason. I guess it's because I've gotten good at knowing where to look, and so it's like fulfilling to hunt for and find something when I have like a kind of vague idea of where to look, but not the exact answer off the top of my head. Okay, I will go back to 733 and I'll try the one you said. How? So I think I've done this before, but I don't remember exactly how. I'm gonna update this, which is probably gonna take us. Okay, here's that. So you said turn it on false. Here, you said turn it false for Y and true for X. X, false for Y. So we get, yeah, flipped only across the Y axis. Unfolded in the X orientation, but unfolded across the y-axis. Gotta get you trying Wowqui. I would like to try Wowqui. They've added CI support to Online Simulator. You can run any .bin, but it also has MPY. Arduino native support. Only screen is the IL934 plus CapSense. Yeah, I would definitely like to play with Wowqui. I've like ever so briefly played with it a few times. Like I've sat down for maybe an hour here or there. I want to say like 2 or 3 times, and worked through a couple of different examples on the different CircuitPythons. Like the first one I think was Raspberry Pi Pico, maybe. And I want to say I did one more. If you can run any bin file, that part's interesting though. I definitely did not know that. So if you make a custom build, if I make a custom build like inside of here, you get a firmware.bin. Can I load that? That'd be pretty cool. VS Code. I have not gotten too far into VS Code. Little tiny bit. Just many times run code to help people in the CircuitPython channel and to help with Pico. Yeah, that is nice to be able to have virtual hardware for sure. I think Tetrick is going to be looking into it at some point for the potential to do I think I should have had any changes. I don't know what it's talking about. For the potential to run like actions tests on it, so that library code, for instance, could execute on a virtual device. Okay, let's take a quick look around. If there's anything that jumps out immediately. We're just going to look for the last edited date on DisplayIO shape. Two months, 3 months, okay. Oh. Yeah, okay, 2 months on shape C. 2 years on shape H. And before that, it is 2021. So that seems... But this is only April. That's 2 months ago. And we went all the way back to October of last year, so that can't be it. None of this looks functional so far either. Maybe here, this looks a little bit more potentially functional. Okay, this is inside set boundary. Do these get backported? Is this the date? Is this the date this was built? Or does it get backported with newer, last modified? How can we check out before this? This definitely seems... This part seems like it could be related. This is inside the function we're calling set boundary, which is the one that doesn't seem to be behaving correctly, so... I don't quite follow the exact logic. It doesn't look like it's changed 100%, but it did used to be like this, and now we have... Set this, do one check. Validate range. So that replaces at least one of the if statements validate range, which is nice. self mirror x half height. Most of these if statements are just doing the error, but a int range. Yeah, to my eye, it doesn't look like that changes any, but I will say it's not the easiest to understand what's going on. Especially, I'm not that good at geometry, truthfully. Like, I need to see geometry. If I could run it one way and then run it the other way and look at both results, then I can get a much better sense for what's going on. I have trouble just imagining geometry in my brain. I search on a commit hash? Is that a thing that happens? First of all, I need to select it. Yeah, that was from 425.23. Save space with consolidated errors. So can I get... Oh, that is super convenient. It left us right here in the full list. Wow, thanks, PyCharm. I mean, Sea Lion. So can I check out this? I don't care. Not sure if that would actually make a difference one way or another. Like, the error messages are one of the things that is translated, and that commit's definitely messing with the error messages, so it could be that the translations are important and that I should have done something different, because I don't actually know. We're gonna go make board pi l. Okay, while that's running, let's look back also at the history. What was the previous change? Run code formatting script. I get touched almost every file, I'm guessing. This is a lot of files. I wish I could close all. I don't know enough about asterisks in C code, but that does strike me as potentially like gonna have a functional effect rather than just being like a code format. But yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. Went from the end of the area to the beginning of the tail here, and then same thing, I guess. I mean, I suppose at least it's consistent. All right, we got a build here. Let's go to bootloader mode. So let me catch up. Would be perfect for verifying the output image from DisplayIO. Yeah, I actually did have that thought at one point as well. Trying to make something to where we could have like a pass image, and then it would generate a screenshot and then check it against the pass image, and if it's different, then it could fail. I did have a thought like that at one point, and Wowkui would make that kind of thing nice and easy. The difficulty has always been like the hardware side of things, so being able to virtualize it's definitely appealing. Although I do also still think like it would be really, really nice if we could somehow get hardware in the mix as well. Like, it's super pie in the sky dreams, but if somehow there could be a way where you can plug in a microcontroller to your PC and just run a thing in the background that's like a, CircuitPython test runner, and it's allowed to like interact with your microcontroller. And then like actions can basically send out jobs that say, hey, you know, whoever has a PyPortal, please try to run this code for me, and then give me back the results, whether that's like an exception was raised or take a screenshot of the screen or whatever. It'd be really cool if there could be real hardware in the mix as well. That kind of thing exists for phones. I know Scott has talked a couple of times about a company that does that for smartphones, approached him at one point. It's a very, very, very difficult problem to solve, for sure. But I do think it would have a lot of benefits if we could have some kind of test farm type thing going where there's actual physical hardware running code with each commit or whatever. Use it many times. That one's from before. Basic button and blink works well. Can do small LCDs and OLEDs. There are some regressions that happen with one of 8.1's beta. No idea what was regressed. I think it was ESP IDF. Y used to be settable over half height based on mirror Y. Now it can't be. Interesting. Used to be settable over half height. Oh, in set boundary. Interesting. There's been work on ISFL, RGB matrix. Not using those, don't know. Yeah, the asterisk. I being KVM GPIO. I will host it as soon as you're ready. Garage test farm, yeah. Yeah, so I think something like that would be super cool. Okay, this one is still broken. So this was the commit before the most recent change. So if we go and look in the code, what we should find is the red version of that most recent change. I'm going to do just to make sure, because also we should maybe look on the shared binding side. I guess theoretically it could have changed over there as well. It seems less likely for that to impact it in a way that like changes the behavior rather than just breaks it entirely, but could be one of the things that changed. This was the one from before. Change from before. Oops, nope, I wanted that page. So we should find brightness must be. That's inside display though. We should find raise value error translate inside of set boundary. Yeah. Okay. So that's definitely the old version. And it's still broken here. So this change did not break it. It was broken before that. Off by 1 error? This is much older though, right? This is all the way back to 2020. Those look like it fixes an off by 1 error to me. Rid of that. Oh my gosh, there's so many. Just gonna do this. No idea what impact that's gonna. So this should be with the fix. So on line 41, we should find the -1 is not there. Okay. I'm going to do a make clean because I have no idea what all gets saved, and I definitely want to make sure we're running this older version. Roll to make target. Oh, this works differently now, doesn't it? I have not actually used this since it got changed. Didn't work. I need board after it? I don't know how to do it now. Alright, I gotta run to the restroom. I'll be back. Okay. Keeping up on simulated components, you can add custom chip now in C, not just assembly. Nice. Imagine running a GitHub action that runs against Walkly for every build. Yeah, I think that's what TechTrick has in mind, to the best of my knowledge. It's fetched last after board, but you missed submodules. Thank you. Fetch. It does not have module. So, but I'm in like this weird spot where I'm on this old commit that's before this change, though, right? We're not doing Scilabs, I don't think. Fetching submodules. Do the fetch all. If it's 733 or 80, all submodules removes all modules and cleans up. So you can do a fresh make fetch all submodules or fetch port submodules. Port submodule. You run this inside of the port. Let's provide a board. I could use this way though, because my repo would not have it yet, I think. Maybe, was I not in the root? Did I run this from... I don't like make very much. Not familiar enough with make. I don't understand though why, how can this not have the string of fetch in it anywhere when one of the commands is supposedly fetch submodules? At how this thing works. Doesn't have any of this. None of these are... So did this not update? We are so far off the beaten path here from what I was sitting down today to work on. I don't know what to do though. Doesn't have fetch either, and like the other one does not seem to have a giant list of stuff it can do. No rule. Why would the PyPortal need protomatter anyway, though? The protomatter is for like the matrix portal matrices, I thought. PyPortal can't drive that. Build PyPortal. I did do a clean, right? Actually, there is no build PyPortal, actually. That's a bit awkward. I don't even know where that file is at. Make remove all. I don't really want to remove all because I don't have any confidence that I can get them back, and I don't just want to nuke my entire environment and not be able to use it again, so I'm kind of hesitant to do that. Because, like, so far, literally every way to fetch that I have tried has failed. Nothing I have done has actually fetched. So if I delete, I sincerely am very annoyed that this does not just have the copy thing in it anymore. I it is such a minor detail that really should not bother anyone really that much at all, but honestly, it is incredibly frustrating to me for no good reason. Does make fetch all submodules not work en route. No. No rule make target fetch all submodules. That would have been the old way, I thought, but the old way also does not work. So like I have not successfully fetched any. So I really don't want to just delete the ones I have. I mean, I guess hopefully it would go back to normal when I got off of this branch, I suppose, but I'm really, really hesitant to just delete them if I can not pull them at all. I had a copy. It's like the root of the entire computer. What a weird place. What? No. Like a private protomotor in PyPortal makes no sense. That's built in. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me either. I don't understand what it would use protomatter for. Unless it just like happens to be in the default, you know, SAMD51 or whatever. If it's just like enabled by default or something, I guess I could see. But yeah, I don't. As far as I know, it wouldn't be very possible to use a PyPortal with a matrix because there's not enough. Unlike a lot of the microcontrollers, there's like no GPIO pins on a PyPortal. Pretty much, there's like 2 digital pins, and then there's like the I2C port. Those are the only pins that are kind of available to plug stuff into. So I don't even see how you could ever connect a matrix to it, practically speaking. So can I mean, I would have already been fetched. It would have already been fetched sometime. I guess we don't know when. To the tunes, YouTube. Yeah. Well, I don't even think, I mean, I don't think it can, like, I don't think protomatter can work over I2C. It needs a bunch of pins connected. Those matrices. I don't know exactly how many, but I'm pretty sure it's more than 2. Data pins, I mean, because it will need power and ground obviously as well, but I think it needs more than 2 data pins. In I2C, it's not even both of those are data, I guess, but they're used together to transmit data. I think it needs like, I want to say like 8 maybe, but I honestly have no idea. Those plugs on the back of the matrices that the matrix portal plugs into, I don't remember how many pins are in that little header, but that's like, I think you need all of those pretty much. Yeah. If there's any way I could cut it out. I almost wonder, I mean, we're trying to make a build from like 2020. Did Protomatter even exist at that time? Maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't have just done fetch. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Probably shouldn't have done that. But now I guess I could do the remove, although this does take a minute. I'd rather not sit through this more than absolutely necessary. I'd rather not make you all sit through this while I'm streaming either. But originally on Blink only. Protomatter was ported from Blinka. I don't think so, but I'm not sure. My understanding is Protomatter is basically came from like Arduino. Arduino has Protomatter library and then got built into CircuitPython and bindings added to it. This is the way I understand it. To the best of my knowledge, I don't know if it works in Blinka yet. I don't know that you can. Not sure if there's a way to connect those matrices to a Raspberry Pi proper. Maybe. Maybe there's like a Matrix Pi hat or something. Gecko SDK. This one must be big. Taking a minute. It's Gecko SDK. Close SDK. Scilabs. That must be what Scilabs was. Should have probably done the port specific one, I guess. Did you do the port specific one? What? Oh, this one doesn't have that list either. That must be a newer thing. Oh, here it is. It's just not green. Touch all submodules. Remove all submodules. Was it inside the one in the ports? Still doesn't have fetch in it. Probably try to learn make syntax at some point. I never learned make syntax. I have no idea how this declares commands. Like, I kind of conceptually get it's declaring all these commands that you can then call, but like, how does the port one come into play here? Fetch port submodules. Oh no, can I not have my terminal? Okay. It's like, is it seriously not going to let me use the other terminal here? There's building.md. We could read that. Essentially tells you how. CircuitPy defines make. And there's a phony. Which all submodules needed for this particular port. I'll say phony there. I probably should have done that instead of all, but it does look like all is done now as well, so that's nice. I don't remember the... We're trying to go back to this. X this. Got this. I turn that off. Same problem. No rule to make protomatter. Rule to make protomatter. I'm gonna ask in CircuitPython dev. There won't be any. There are none because this is a whole brand new clone. Have any build anything, which is weird because it's referencing a file that looks like it's in there, but I guess after it fails, it must delete everything, or it must not actually have saved it. And checking out. So maybe I probably should not have done... Probably should not have done... Build all. I mean, fetch all. See, this is weird to me, though. This part I don't get. Because now I'm on the old branch, and I feel like that should exist. So was there a time before? There was, though. There was. There totally was. Oh, what was the command before? What was... There was... How would we find that? I guess, can we just find what fetch submodules runs? There is like sub get for each submodule checkout something something, like whatever this runs, because this didn't used to exist before. You had to run a different command like get something something. Pop up by the make, was it removal? I think we need to do this. And then we need to get to the branch we want. Then we need to run that old way of fetching updates, submodule updates. But how do we find out what that is? Oh wow, this was when it was added, maybe. Yes. I don't know if we would need, maybe, I don't know if we'll need that part, but up with this. You think that would be from root? This one seems different, but maybe the, no, I think that's a shell script. Let's see, maybe in the bundle there's a, it's unable. Every single one of these said unable, pretty much. Wonder if I ruined it by doing the real one first, but I did a remove. This fails off the bat. True. Yeah, that's That definitely looks familiar. That, I think, is one of the commands I was thinking of. Thank you. And something at least. Saw Protomatter go by. Unclear to me why it would fail with that error anyway. No rule to make Protomatter, but aside from the fact, like, even if we don't consider the fact that it doesn't seem like it should be needing to make Protomatter for anything on the PyPortal, even aside from that, it's like, why does it not have the rule to make it, I wonder? Unless this is just like an in-between version. Maybe this exact commit is not buildable. Maybe like this exact commit got merged at a time when Protomatter was being added, and then it ended up in a state where it's not buildable because of a merge that came before or after it that changed main branch out from under it. Does that make any sense? I don't know if that makes any sense. That's something to try, though. If we do not get a successful build, we should try maybe a few more commits, forwards or backs. I think it didn't finish, but I think it should go faster. I think all the ones it succeeded on won't take as long. No? Okay, I don't know. Oh, this is just a warning. I don't know if that matters. Might not matter. This is my terminal thing that makes all of this be pretty. Did not fail instantly, which is a good sign, but I must BRB again. Okay. I'm down. I think it's not, I think it's my thing, my terminal thingy, not anything to do with Git. Yeah. Oh, I have dealt with this before. What was the solution? I think I need to uninstall bitmap font. That's not the name of it. All right. Yeah, I have run into that before. I'm pretty sure there was something weird where if you have that installed, then you can't make builds. I think it got fixed, but that's like because we're going back to an old commit, it means like things that have gotten fixed are broken again. Yeah, the fonts. I don't know what it is about it. It's something weird about the way it's treating. Like, I think I want to say there's a file in the core that shares a name with something in that library, and the core is assuming that it will import that file. But if you have the library installed in site packages, then it actually imports from the library. And whatever thing it is, I think is a different, it doesn't do the same thing. So it imports the thing from the library and then fails because it's not doing what it's expecting it to do. Something like that. There's an issue for it if you search bitmap font. Probably there are issues. It'll pop up. I remember creating it, I believe. Either creating it or looking at a solution for it or something. Firmware UF2, we're going to copy that to Media TimC Portal. Okay, this was, yeah, somebody said long way around. This was a very long way around, but we did eventually make it there. And the moment of truth is going to tell us that it is working on this one. So, oh, well, did go into a hard fault though, so that's not necessarily the best. But it drew correctly. Goes directly back to the hard. Part's not the best, but our shape thing is not messed up, so. And this was all the way back here, so it was working here. Why does this have an 820? What do all these mean? These are all the ones that have this commit in it. Okay. And of all of these, we know that 733 does work, but 800 does not. We really got to try to get the commits between those two. I don't know, how do we do that though? What's the newest commit on 73X? It's August 30th of 2022. So if I head back to here and we pull this back up and we get ourselves to 2022, started doodaloo, like a USB thing connecting. I don't know if it was the Pi portal. What did we say? August 30th. Move pew pew. So if we check out here and build, it should be basically the same as 733. So it should work correctly. But we are back to that. Again. But maybe we can use this time? That's nice. We're at least new enough that we have fetch submodules and we don't need the more ancient Git incantations. I thought we did 0. I thought we did 0, but maybe not. Well, yeah, I don't have it downloaded, I guess, so. Oh, this failed on 0. This probably failed because of having broken stuff in it, though, right? Probably like has the wrong stuff and now it can't check out or something. I really wish this would stop popping up. Oh, it's back to... Do it a minute ago? Why would I have changes to any of these? Didn't change. So, I mean, isn't that because I removed? Back errors? Make clean? Move, resync, and update. I don't think it was PyStack error. PyStack, I think, is when it's trying to run. This was an error only when you build. I don't have the git init thing. So this thinks, I don't even know what branch we're on anymore. Because this thing says main. But I tried to check out the other one. I thought it worked. I even did force checkout, which makes it seem like it's definitely going to check out something, but then it says we're still on main. No build errors? Yeah, that must be a different thing. I didn't just type the rest of this. Well, Pretty much did not do anything that I intended to set down. Yeah, this one. Having bitmap font installed breaks building. Yep, that's I'm pretty sure. I'm not, obviously it's not pulled up anymore, so I can't see it, but I think, I'm almost positive that's the exact same error that we got. Aren't just closed now. That is 4129 is the issue. This is good though. At least we found the bug. I can document it in a new issue. Gotta put pictures of before and after. It's too bad that it wasn't caught before those in-between commits got deleted from AWS. It'd be really nice to be able to do more bisecting ones that are available. Speaking of which, it's actually, what did I leave this on? Yeah, you were right. Whoever said that? Tyeth? Yeah, you were right. We did not test Alpha 0, and in fact, Alpha 0 does work. So we're actually maybe just accidentally lucked into really, really good news, right? Because... no, never mind. I'm gonna say maybe we had some between, but we don't actually. But we did narrow it down. Now we know that we're looking for between Alpha 0. Was it Alpha 1? Did we try that one either, actually? What did we try a while ago? 800? Beta 1. Beta 1. Beta 1. Yeah, much smaller. That one works also. That's Alpha 1. No. Alpha 0, that says. Wait, what? Did I not? I copied the wrong one. Does this not update? These can't both be called CircuitPython. I'm gonna unplug the HDMI one. It's lying to me. Full. There was anything we needed to make this even more easy to figure out, it is not being able to trust the code that the IDE is actually showing to us is the code on the device. That's pretty much. So that we cannot really do anything else and have any confidence in anything. It is on Alpha 1 and it is not broken yet. So even newer than Alpha 1. And we tried Beta 1. But I guess I did not try Beta 0. This one is still working. And PyCharm is telling us the truth this time, which is nice. So, I mean, I think we did Beta 1. It was Pirate instead of US, so it's technically different than this one. But this, I believe, failed before, so between Beta 0 and Beta 1, where it looks like our failure. Not actually sure how to check the commits between those two things specifically. Yeah. Okay. So if they would still be existing in here, we could try to find them, but they don't. Like the newer ones up here have in-between commits, but they get deleted. So between Beta 0 and Beta 1, something changed in shape and caused it to break. And on 7.3.3, it has the old one, which is working properly. Same one as Beta 0. So how do we find commits between those two? Nice. So the last commit on Beta 0 is August 18th, 2022, and it was a merge of 6782. Let's try to find that in the list. I don't even actually know what state we're in here. And we just got the same error. Still seems like we're on main. Have that though, so we're not actually on main for real. Can't check out main anymore. Really just broke this one all up. Check out. We start over. Or the X Pirate releases. Pirate is a language, technically. Pirate is like a test language, basically. You could think of it like the languages EU or whatever. ES, I mean. All these, this list of languages here, Pirate is one that is technically like a different dialect of English. Like there's a US English and a UK English, and there's also a Pirate English, which has a lot of like R and mateys and things like that sprinkled in. effectively, it's like just a test of making sure that different languages can work. Also, it's fun to use, though, because it makes your device sound like a pirate, and it's printing error messages and stuff like that, which is like a solid form of entertainment. When are we in? Okay, we're in the copy. Okay, so now we're in a totally fresh copy, have not done anything. Do I want to try to check out? Or do I want to try to submodule update first? Feels like checking out and then updating submodules would be best. Though we did get stuck in a way where that was not working. Does it legitimately follow the pirate dialect? Yeah. I mean, I don't know if there's an official pirate dialect, so I don't know if that's like an official thing you're asking about. I don't know for sure. Probably not anything like to the letter of any kind of pirate's code or anything, but it does have like R matey and stuff like that in the stuff that prints out. We said 18th, and we said merge from probably this, I think, 6782. That sounds familiar. Yeah, beta 0, 6782. Okay. So right there, that is the last commit on beta 0. And at that state, it is working. And here, this went to 730. Did I click 730? Hold on, I gotta go back. Was I on the right one even before? 800 beta 0, yes. October 1st. So from August 18th, essentially from this commit all the way to N1. Merge pull request 6974, this one. All of these are the ones between those two. So does shape appear? Yes. This is the change we saw before. Right. This was basically the most recent change to this shape file. Save space with errors. That's what this is. But did we did I didn't we build the one before that? Because if that's the only change, I thought we already tested that both before and after. And it was broken both ways. Now I'm second guessing. Now I'm not even sure actually though for sure. Like I thought I had tested it both ways, but maybe not. I guess I don't know. This was also. Oh, hold up. This is in shared bindings. What file is this? Doesn't tell me. I wish this would tell me what file it was. It must be shared bindings though, because it has make new. Is that true? That might not be true. Still be shared. Yeah, it did actually. It didn't get touched and shared. We're in shared module here, so that it's not that change, but it's very similar looking, right? Very similar looking, but this is in shared module. Okay, so let's go look in shared bindings shape. So I'm probably pretty behind on the chat. Yep, totally. Very behind on the chat, sorry. Let's see. Here we go. I stack errors, that one we had before. Once I got submodule problems, I usually end up recloning. Yep. I'm the same way, honestly. I just jump to the reclone. Between alpha 1 and 0, yep, we ended up, this is still from a while ago, I'm catching up, but we did end up between beta 1 and 0. The device, but HDMI didn't. X-Pirate, okay, no, legitimately follow. Cornish Pirate, nice. Everyone loves a good sea shanty, yeah, for sure. I dream of AI making life easy. Yeah, that would be amazing. The bug is between commit X and Y. Use Wackway and test each one until you find the bug. Oh, that would be so amazing, actually. Yeah, that would be really cool. I mean, it doesn't even need AI necessarily, right? Like, it can be, that's an iterative, logical process of like, check this out, run this test code on it, take a screenshot of the results, for instance. And then you could just tell it to do that for every commit in the row. And then, like, if you want to, you could also use automated, like, PIL, OpenCV type stuff to check if the output is good or bad. But even if you just had it build one screenshot, like build a system image and then run this test code and then take a screenshot of what's on the display, even if you just had it do that for all the commits and just outputted a folder of screenshots, you could easily just look through the grid and find the one where it breaks. So having it actually pick out the one is not super critical. If it will do all the grunt work of build each one and get you the screenshot of the results, that would be amazing. Only change for this most recent commit is a single line removed there. This was the one in shared bindings, so we would want to go history here and look at folder commit. Have September, and what is we said our date range, it was, so this is within our date range. It's almost to the end of our date range, in fact. 10-1 is the last one, 8/18 to 10-1. Oops. Nothing functional in that one either. That's just split this out to 3 lines and then empty lines in a couple of spots. Simplify argument checking. These two are still within our range, but then this is outside. This is before our range back to May, so. Shape, okay. Yeah. Are we just passing y for x or something? Did these get transposed or something, maybe? Look at the diff in here again. Okay, these all close themselves. I don't know how that happened. Let's double check x's and y's here. mp int y equals validate type mp qstring y, and it's from args1, which we could probably fairly safely assume args1 would be y, but it's actually not though, right? Because arg0 is y, arg1 would be start x, and then arg2 would be end x. Let's keep going though. Start x. Yeah, I think we have logic error in here. I think it's not. These shouldn't all be coming from args1, should they? Start x, that should be args1, and then index, I think args2, and y actually I think args. No, 0 is self. 0 is self. So 1 would be y, and then 2 for start x, and then 3 for index. Was it like that on the left? Yeah, there it is. We found it. I think we found it. This used to be args 1, 2, and 3, but now it's args 1, 1, and 1. Okay. We are gonna go... Where are we at here? Are we on actual main? Are we on, like, main that's working and not broken and, like, all good? Okay. I'm gonna try the port. How do we do the port one? So do I go inside here and then make... Was it fetch port? Okay, that's pretty sweet. I'm gonna fetch, and then we're gonna go change shape and see if it works after that. And then honestly, I'm probably gonna wrap it up after that. Either way. Well, I say either way, but if it doesn't work, I might try a few more things to fix it, because I'm a sucker for DisplayIO problems, as we established earlier. But I am gonna probably be wrapping it up pretty soon. Convert to SVG. There you go. Able to compare to them. Into 10.1, yep. Thank you, appreciate it. 1 is correct for y, 0 for self, yep. That is correct as well. Rest should increase. What's the old code? Yep. Nothing like a good bug hunt on a Saturday morning. Nothing like a successful bug hunt on a Saturday morning. There could be a good bug hunt that's unsuccessful, and then it wouldn't be as much fun. But now we wait patiently while our submodules update. What is get pass? I didn't know that. That's interesting. I don't know if this works in CircuitPython or not. I guess, I mean, it's in shared binding, so it should. That's kind of cool, actually. So it's like an input. It's like the input for, it's basically like input for like your SSH passwords and stuff. Like in SSH, when you type your password, it just doesn't show anything. Or sudo is another good example. If you run sudo, then it asks you, under Linux, if you run sudo and it asks you for your user password, as you type, it just doesn't type anything. Like, I mean, it doesn't show anything visually. I assume that's what this is, basically. It's like a thing you can type into without any visual showing, which is pretty cool. I don't know that I have a use I can think of. Although, I mean, maybe we could use that. I guess it would actually be pretty cool to use that with the Enigma machine that I was working on last week. That'd be kind of cool if you could feed it your message via serial instead of file. And then if you do this, it means your message is not visual inside of anything dealing with the CircuitPython device. Obviously, you're probably copy pasting it from somewhere, in which case it's probably visible, but you could type it out, I guess. If it's not copy pasted, you could actually type it out, and then it would be not stored anywhere, which would be cool. Well, it's still in RAM and stuff, obviously. It's stored somewhere, but it's not shown anywhere, I should say. Okay. And we can then go make, let's do ls. Do we have a build? I don't, yeah, we shouldn't. Okay, make board hypertal. And we wait again. Just wait for Hacktoberfest. Yeah, there you go. Bug fixing rabbit hole aficionados. It's definitely me. Board input to REPL. Yeah, it's true. We use that in settings toml? It'd be tricky to use in settings toml. Cause my understanding is getpass, it's going to be always coming from serial, is the way I read it. Like analogous to Python input. Like inside CPython, it has, you can go like s equals input. And then basically now it's waiting for me to type something. So if I put hello, now s will be the string with hello in it. So my understanding is it's basically the same as this, except when you type, it would not be visible. So I would type hello. I would do this, and then I'd be typing hello, but we would not be seeing it here. But then when I press enter, it still would technically pass that hello and put it inside S. And then at that point, obviously, if we printed it, then it would print. But if we don't print it, then it would not be visible anywhere in serial. That's my understanding of how getpass is working. And so I don't see how it could work in conjunction with a file like settings toml. That being said, I'm not positive that my interpretation of that, what it's doing, is correct. So it very well could be that the way that I'm imagining it is not quite right, and then therefore it could potentially work totally differently. Theory, if the editor py thing happens and USB HID input device is a serial stream device or something as planned, then you could have a way of updating password line or hiding it. There you go. Yeah, you could maybe make like a settings toml editor type thing where you have some program that you can load up into and then set variables and have them saved in settings toml. Have them not echoed to the screen. You could probably do something like that. You would need it to be mounted as writable. So you'd have that in the mix as well, where you have your boot py that's mounting it for writable in CircuitPython versus the PC. But you could probably do something like that. Yeah, that was it. So we got a fixed one here. And if we go all the way back to the original code, we could also turn our mirrors on the other direction, get the full thing. Okay, yes, okay. This is how shape works. This is how I remember shape working. And eventually we'll maybe use shape to make some flags, but for now I'm gonna get this committed as a PR and then probably head out, get some lunch going. We want to go get remote -v get remote rename origin Adafruit, get remote add fumigai. Where's that one commit? Did we ever open that? We should find that commit so I can link to it. This one doesn't look like it though. Is there already ones by the time this commit's happening? I don't know which one we clicked on. Please. Yeah, here it is. Okay. We'll want this one for linking the issue. Specifically set boundary. So, I mean, we tried all of the versions, basically. A lot of versions. Let's put the newest one we tried, which would be the released one. So that's fair. So it was 8. The last tag where it works successfully is 8 beta 0. And it's dash beta dot. Dash beta dot. I always get that part wrong. I always want to do dot beta. So the last one where it works successfully is beta dot 0. The first tag where it does not work Okay, I'm also catching up here on the chat. How's it going, Herbrain? I don't know if you're watching the stream, but if so, welcome in. Apart from showing on screen, password and keys encoding provides zero protection. Yeah, base 64. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't provide zero protection. It provides 0.001 protection, maybe. Like a little bit more than zero, I believe. Obviously not actual protection from anyone who knows anything, but protection from people who don't know, which is like, there's a bunch of people who don't know, so. Double, there you go, double base 64. Yeah, I mean, the web was a crazy place. Like, before we had good security practices, there was all kinds of, like, let's say, very janky stuff going on. Shipped out the 7 segment to somebody who forgot to change my settings toggle. Yeah. I actually literally just did that this week. I shipped the device to the person I work with at my other job. I shipped the device with settings toggle that has my Wi-Fi password in it. Luckily, in this case, the person I'm shipping it to is like a known, trusted person and a partner of mine, so I can just be like, hey, please delete that. I could change it also if I wanted, but hashes. Yeah. Okay, we need a picture of the broken one, so let's just grab newest, I guess. I'll have to go back and change the title. Can I do that while we're running? I think I can do that, actually. The title definitely did not end up being... We ended up with, let's say, DisplayIO shape bug investigation fix. I don't know if that'll update the VOD title as well or what, but all right, here's our broken one. Differing behavior. Oh, nice. That even took me directly to shape, which is really convenient. I don't know what is going on with the way it formatted it. Like, this is looking a little kind of weird, but took us directly to where I wanted it to, so that's nice. Okay. Okay, we were trying to get Foamy Guy. Back to main. Let's go to guy. Guy. Why though? Why is it? Why would we not want this to be this thing you get? No. Not think of any good reasons. Fetch Foamy Guy. Get checkout dash b shape fix DisplayIO fix from Adafruit main, no track. Okay. Pre-commit. Okay. Let's make the build again and put it back on the device and make sure it's working as expected. And if it is, then I'll hit the PR. But it would be a shame to like think it's working correctly and submit it and it have it turned out that I changed something or broke something after the fact somehow. So we'll do a full clean build one more time. We'll copy it back over, make sure it's working, and then if it is, I will commit and PR. I'm gonna run to the restroom again real quick though. BRB. Okay, we got a build. Let's go to bootloader mode. Copy. Yep, all good. Commit this. Fix shape set boundary. Okay. Change the way this looks up here. I can't quite put my finger exactly on what the difference. I don't think the icon used to be there. And I think this used to be bigger, I feel like. But yeah, definitely this is a little bit different. Oh, this stuff up here too, actually. Huh. Not like randomly zoomed. Weird. No, 100%. Yeah, Git's definitely, GitHub, I should say, is changing their GUI up on us here. What did our number end up being? 8113. I'll just say with the test code, listed in the issue. Not really any sense in duplicating the test code, I don't think. All right. It is in. We did not make any flags, but we did fix shape. It's pretty cool. I'm also kind of glad we made it through all of the old branches and stuff. Honestly, it probably is really good experience to be able to practice building those old branches with the old submodule things, because like stuff like this, like if anything falls through the cracks, it's always good to be able to go back and make a build. So we did have to fight against it for a little bit, but I suspect that fighting against it probably buys us an easier time in the future the next time I do this, so probably for the better, all things considered. I am gonna head out there. I know we didn't, like I said, I know we didn't actually make it into any flag designs, so obviously we went way off the trail from what I was expecting, but we managed to figure it out and get it fixed, so that's pretty good. You hadn't been around for the older builds, yeah, I don't know. I think I would have not been able to do it if I hadn't had recollection of some of that stuff for sure. That would have been really tough. So I'll head out for here for now, I should say. I do still want to probably do a couple more flags at some point, because I do want to do ones that use shape. I also want to do one that uses image load inflate tile grid, which is actually similar to some of the techniques we used yesterday, but is like an easier API for some of the stuff we did yesterday. So I'd like to make one that uses that still. I'd like to make one that uses shape, which is what I sat down starting today. And then the last one that I would like to make is going to use this DisplayIO inflator, which is a library that I made a while back, which is what the original title was talking about, JSON inflator. This thing allows you to basically define JSON that represents the stuff you want on the display. So you tell it a view type, you tell it which views you want to put in that view type, and your views are like, you know, labels or shapes or buttons or whatever, right? Any DisplayIO object, pretty much. And the whole idea here is being able to define in JSON what's going to be on the display and where it's going to be at. So we could use this to make a flag by defining some rectangles and putting them on the display at the appropriate locations. But the main reason I actually want to get myself back into this thing is I have another use case for my other job where I suspect this is going to become very helpful. So I want to get it updated. It's been 2 years since the last time anything's been committed. I have no idea what state it's in. I have no idea if it works. Honestly, it probably doesn't. So I want to get it updated so that it actually works under current CircuitPython, and probably also, I think, make a new repo for it, because my repo is very, very old and all sorts of broken with links and things that don't work, and it has the old this thing. Like, honestly, it'd be nice probably to just cookie cut a new one and get it re-uploaded under a new repo that's all good. So that's the other stuff that I have in mind that I'd like to do sometime soon that I was going to work on today. If you are interested in that at all, you can hit me up on the Discord or something. If folks are interested, I may do that on stream. If nobody is, then I may do it off stream. Either way, I'll probably stream about something using this sometime soon, because it will be on the tip of my brain and the tip of my fingers as something that I'm working on. Good refresher to build. Have I looked at LVGL? I have looked at LVGL. It looks super duper amazing. It would be like, it would be amazing if we had the ability to use LVGL in CircuitPython. If somebody could make bindings for that, I think that would be super duper amazing. I would love to be the person to do that, but I think it's probably way over my head at this point. I need to still get a much better grasp on C code before I could attempt something that would be that level of complexity, I think. But I would really like if we did have LVGL bindings. It seems like a super duper neat project. I sign up to beta test. Beta test what? Beta test this thing? I mean, you can beta test this if you'd like. You can use it if you'd like, I should say. I don't know if that's what you're talking about, though. DisplayIO turned into license build, Git, built bug hunting. Yep. Updating 8.0 to 9.0. Gonna be a big project. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, once we have some breaking changes. Okay. Yep. Thank you. Thanks for hanging out, DJ Devin and Taya. Thanks for the help on the versions and the stuff that you mentioned a while back, as well as all the other help. I think you guys gave me a couple of pointers in the chat that pushed me along, so I appreciate both of you. Appreciate everybody else watching. Hope everyone has a good rest of your weekend, and that is it for now. I will catch you next time. We'll close this, and I will slowly work my way back to OBS and click the stop streaming.